Quite a nice day here in Brussels, actually, but this was on the cards, this rain.
Well, a world-class field here in the women's 5,000 metres. We've got world champion, 2 world record holders, and there Hellen Obiri, who is absolutely imperious, virtually unbeatable over 5,000 metres over the last 3 years. She's won every major title since 2017 over this distance. Constanze Klosterhalfen, is there a more improved athlete over the last 12 to 18 months? Now based, of course, in Oregon with Alberto Salazar. She's broken multiple records and set national records. Sifan Hassan will be another in the mix, of course, best known for her performances over the mile and the 1,500 metres. She already has the Diamond League trophy over the 1,500. Agnes Tirop as well goes for Kenya, former world cross-country champion, and she is capable of making some real damage and making herself a nuisance here. And we've got a brilliant field here. Debut Stafford's having the season of her life, Canadian champion and record holder over 1,500 metres, now based in Scotland. Gideon Worku there, and Beatrice Chepkoech, the world record holder, of course, over the 3,000 metres steeplechase. But this, I would suggest, all about Hellen Obiri, who is so versatile. Klosterhalfen, who was so impressive in coming second behind Hassan in Zurich last week in the 1,500 metres. There she is, the Dutch woman. Women's 5,000 metres. Well, packed with quality, and the pace they've asked for, 2:16 through 800 metres, which gives us, what, 58-second lapping. And the pace, I think, Tim, today will be crucial. I think if well paced, they could threaten something around the meeting record, although the conditions, I think, will also have a hand in that. 14:18, a really fast time from Almaz Alyana from Ethiopia 3 years ago in 2016. But pacing, I would suggest, absolutely crucial.
Well, it is, but who will go with it? We've seen so many examples this summer of pacemakers going up. We've seen a lot of bad pacemaking this year, actually, but we've also seen pacemakers go out at the requested pace and the rest of the field ignoring it. But let me tell you that 68 seconds per lap, and as you said, that is what's been requested for the first 3 laps at least, is world record tempo. That would bring them home in 14:10. So it'll be very interesting to see whether or not somebody will take the bull by the horns in the middle of this race. 5,000's a very difficult distance to get right. It's fairly simple to run the first 3 or 4 laps pretty quick. You know, you're fresh. But actually, it's that middle section when you start having to dig in a little bit, and you haven't even reached halfway yet, that is very, very tough. When you get to, you know, you've got 5 or 6 laps to run, and you're beginning to work, your mind plays tricks on you, and it says, look, he's back. There's no way you're going to be able to maintain this.
Well, Chepkoech there just tucking in behind the pacemakers. Not known, of course, for the 5,000 metres. She very rarely runs at this distance.
Skinny.
Well, back to this women's 5,000 metres. I can tell you they went through 800 metres in 2:20, so slower than the required pace of 2:16. And Obiri is in there, Chepkoech as well. 2:55, just under 2:56 for the first kilometre. And it really seems to be slowing down. Obiri there with that rocking style, with Klosterhalfen just behind her. Chepkoech, she's the intriguing one in this, of course. She's not known as a flat runner at all, but she's got some speed over, certainly 3,000 metres. Came 4th in Doha at the start of the season. Tirop is in there as well. So Tirop, Chepkoech, Sifan Hassan just keeping well out of trouble there. Klosterhalfen tugging the inside line, and Obiri very...
5,000 metres, Chris, how they love it, these distance runners, wherever they're from, really gets everybody and the crowd in the mood.
Well, a little bit of confusion there by the pacemaker, but Chepkoech is still in there, Tirop as well, approaching 2 kilometres. In fact, there we are, 5:54 at 2 kilometres, so approaching halfway in this race. Tirop then, Obiri, so experienced, not just on the track, of course, but over the cross-country. She won the world title in Aarhus in Denmark earlier this year. Klosterhalfen, who, as I say, is so improved. The move to the USA has been so good for her, for Klosterhalfen. National records in the 1,500, the mile, the 3,000 and the 5,000 this year. And it's great to see. She's almost unrecognisable, is the German.
Well, 11 athletes in that group, Chris. Hassan just tucked in there, 3 from the back, 4 from the back. Just clearly just wants to test her racing nous here against this very, very strong field of mainly Africans. Klosterhalfen, I think, would probably prefer the pace to be a little bit quicker. Interesting athlete at the back of the group, Debu Stafford, who's been running so fast.
6 laps to go then in this women's 5,000 metres, and it's Kenya 1, 2 and 3. And Eva Chirono has taken up the lead here, the 23-year-old finalist in the Commonwealth Games, with Agnes Tirop, who is a dark horse in many ways. Less high profile than Helen Obiri, who is the third of those 3 Kenyans. Klosterhalfen in 4th. And, well, there is Sifan Hassan just biding her time. She's the European champion, of course, over 5,000 metres. Chirono, they're just having a look round. But Obiri with that instantly recognisable rollicking style there. So smooth, but she can wind it up, believe you me, in the latter stages of this race. So Kenya dominating at the moment. Gide in there for Ethiopia, the youngster, just coming up onto the shoulder of Obiri, who starts to take closer order. And I'm sure we'll see Hassan starting to make her way through the field as well. But Obiri controlling the pace of this race, approaching 9 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, it's slow, isn't it, Chris? I mean, the first kilometre 2:56, almost. The second kilometre was almost 2:59. Don't quite understand. I mean, it's not so cold that they should be wanting to keep it this slow. There you go, at 2:57, almost at 2:58, and 8:52 at 3,000. It's very slow for many of these athletes. And yet again, we're going to see a big tactical race here over the second half, a big burn-up in the latter stages.
Well, 11 or 12 athletes still bunched together.
Levchenko. Same for her. Recorded her first failure of the competition. It's the second time at 193, and that's good as well. Only 21 years old. She is a 2-metre jumper from earlier on this season. What, some 7 women have broken 2 metres this year. But you can... World Championship silver medalist looking strong. Well,
Obiri now has Tirop and Kip Kemboi as well. Kip Kemboi, one of the other Kenyans, also taking closer order with the white headband. But Tirop sticking to Obiri like a limpet. She came second in the Diamond League race in London at the end of July. Klosterhalfen there just looking very, very comfortable in that pack. And still we have, what, 11 or 12 athletes, with Debu Stafford just at the back of that pack, maybe just starting to drop off the back. Laura Muir's training partner, of course. Laura Muir, who missed the 1,500 metres final last week. Sifan Hassan just second from the back with 3 laps to go. But Obiri, as she likes to, just controlling the pace here. Tirop has got the inside line, and it's a question now of who will make the first move and when.
Almost 72 seconds that lap. It hasn't accelerated at all. When you think that there was talk of them moving at 250 per kilometre, I didn't think that was very realistic, but you know, when they're moving at almost 3 minutes per kilometre, that is quite some differential. Klosterhalfen looking comfortable, isn't she? Bouncing along there on the outside alongside Kemboi. Chepkoech did her stint at the front. She's back in about 6th place, just losing ground, and actually get to the right of picture there. Chepkemboi losing ground very, very quickly indeed. It's almost like she's hit the buffers, and Hassan got caught behind her. It's having to close the gap there, Chris, and that's a lot of work you're having to put in late in the race that you don't need to.
Very much so. She's stuck rather in no man's land, because this group of, what, 5 athletes just made a bit of a break, and it was Gide with that injection of pace. Gide, the Ethiopian, as they'll come round with 2 to go, and Obiri. Now the field is starting to split, with Klosterhalfen in 3rd place, Tirop there as well, and Hassan covered it well. She's done very sensibly, just taking her time to get back. So we've got 6 athletes now who are clear into the last 800 metres of this race. Hassan at the back there, Kip Kemboi you can see just in front, Tirop and Klosterhalfen. So it's Kenya dominating, but it's the Ethiopian Gide who's leading the way.
Isn't she a lovely looking athlete too? I think she's wary of that finishing speed of Obiri and Hassan and 1 or 2 others, Gide, but she really gallops, doesn't she? She's right up on her toes. She's a lovely looking runner, bounces along the 21-year-old, and she is testing them here. It's beginning to be worn down to just 3 or 4, that leading group, although ominously Hassan, they're right at the back of it, Chris. I like to think on her recent form is just biding her time.
Yeah, very much so, with a 1500 mile speed in her legs. And Guide there into the home straight. They'll hit the bell very shortly indeed. Abiri, of course, is so dangerous. Klosterhalfen, these four well clear, and it's the big names we were expecting. Tirop, you think now is gone, hitting the bell. 400 to go then. Ethiopia leading through Guide. Abiri then, the world champion and the cross-country champion in second place. Hassan and Klosterhalfen, teammates, of course, now in Poland under tutelage of Alberto Salazar. These four well clear with 300 to go, but Guide looking very purposeful. Abiri can start to look erratic, and there goes Hassan. Hassan's had enough, the handbrake's off. Now then, will there be a response from Abiri down the back straight with 250 to go? This is decisive. Hassan has not beaten Abiri over 5,000 metres in 4 attempts. This, though, is decisive. And look at Klosterhalfen. She's going to rein in Guide as well. Klosterhalfen fancies this. This could be a 1-2 for Alberto Salazar's stable. Hassan has a little look round into the home straight. Hassan's got this done. Brilliant last week in Zurich. And now into the home straight as the crowd rise. She's blitzed this field apart as Hassan. It's not going to be quick, but what a decisive break in the last 500-600 metres. Brilliant from Hassan. Second place goes to Guide, just coming through to deny Salazar a 1-2. Klosterhalfen in third. 59.70 that last lap. Absolutely outstanding.
57 with a 57 last lap, so there was plenty more there. I mean, she really only kicks away in the last 300, doesn't she? She's well into the last 300 when she lets rip. Little glance over her shoulder there. She looks very smooth indeed, not straining, almost metronomic. And she winds it up, she carries on, clicking it up. One little acceleration after another, but it's very smooth indeed. Another check over her shoulder. She probably can't believe that Obiri's not there. I'll have a quick look over my right shoulder, I think, just to be doubly sure. But that's a very comfortable win indeed, and that is championship medal winning finishing from Hassan, and she will definitely go to the World Championships as outstanding favourite over 12.5 laps.
Well, this was a thrilling move when she made it from Hassan. Made her decision, obviously premeditated. Guide just couldn't live with it. Klosterhalfen was dragged through at this stage, and Abiri was left for dead. And here she comes, Hassan. As you say, Tim, just that little glance over the shoulder, but she knew that she was clear. And this is all auguring well. Of course, she hasn't formally decided how to double up in Doha. There's talk of her doing perhaps the 15 and the 10,000, which is an unusual doubling up. But Hassan, such range, such versatility, and their confirmation of her second Diamond League title in as many in 2 weeks. Guide in second place.